What can colored pencil do for watercolor paintings? A lot, it turns out. Join me for this beginner-friendly autumn landscape. Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and today we have a heavily requested tutorial. So I showed this little guy on Instagram, and I showed part of my process. It's done with watercolor and pencil crayon, and you wanted a tutorial, like a lot. So I am more than happy to oblige. So here's the photo I chose, Farm in Fall, and we're gonna start by keeping this tree. And we'll also keep this house. I just want to give you an idea of how I would approach a photo, because just because you're looking at an image doesn't mean you need to keep everything. I don't want to do two buildings, not particularly. So I'm moving the trees over behind that house, and then my tree line up here, I'm going to, just tuck that in above the house, and we'll continue it over there. So there's kind of a field and trees up above. In the photo, there's some foliage in the foreground. I'm going to put a whole tree there. I don't want to paint water, so I'm going to put a hedge in the foreground as well. Keep that fence by the house. And then when I actually put this in my sketchbook, I'll give it a little more sky as well. So it will be longer, higher, if you know what I mean. I just wanted to show you that you can change a photo that you find on Pinterest. You don't have to follow it religiously. So now that you can see what I've kind of done there, I'm going to make a rectangle on the page. So obviously I have to add some sky to that image that we just saw, making a messy rectangle. And then we are going to start with that big tree, because that's where we began first of all. So I just like to do a messy V shape or a bunch of lines for the tree trunk, and then a big cloud-like shape for the foliage. And of course, we'll work that out with watercolor paint. This is a mixed media illustration that we are doing. So paint gives us the freedom to make these great organic shapes, and then pencil crayon, or colored pencil as you guys say in the US, gives you the control of a pencil or marker when you want to add all the details. And then I'm just putting the house beside the tree, just like we talked about. Here, I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Let's talk about it. Do the house shape, and then those lines come off of the roof and the bottom corner, and they all kind of connect in the back. And then as we talked about, we're going to put sort of two smaller trees or bushes here, framing the house really nicely. We've got that line of the horizon line, the top of the field up above, a bunch of vertical lines make for tree trunks, and then more cloud-like shapes up above those. I know this is a bit like, what is going on? I can't do this that fast. This is YouTube. Yes, we move a little quickly. You can always pause the video, and I would actually recommend following along with the image and animation that I showed at the start, because it's so clear and concise. On Patreon, I give weekly bonus content. I would love to have given this as a coloring page, but this week, a bonus tutorial is coming out. We're actually doing a bunch of end of summer flowers, so you can go watch that if you're a patron. Just kidding. Of course, I did a coloring page for you, and I actually made it free. You can become a free member of my Patreon and grab the coloring page, but for just $3 a month, you get access to everything: videos, coloring pages. Okay, let's erase this. I always erase, and that way I'm starting my painting with just a very, very light sketch. You guys know the drill. Let's begin by mixing up those paint colors. I want to start by mixing up great colors for the foliage. So for a yellow, cadmium yellow, Naples yellow, and burnt umber. And then I did put a little white, and just so I'd have two different shades of yellow there. You can see they're very golden. And then for a more orangey tone, we're using light red mixed with Naples yellow. That's great. You can add a little bit of burnt umber if you want. And for a more red leaf, try the rose madder hue mixed with lots of light red, maybe a hint of yellow. That gets you started on the foliage. And then for the green fields, we want a really organic sort of dead green. So mix any of your greens with rose madder hue or burnt umber, and it's going to give you this browny green that looks so great for fall. And then I almost forgot, I needed a color for the sky. So I'm using lots of white with just a hint of Payne's gray, lots of water as well. I want a good amount of this gray wash, and that's how we're going to begin. We're going to use a number 8 filbert. Remember, all the supplies are linked in the video description, including those paints that you just saw, which are my set of paints. They have my name on them. I chose all the colors, and they are in stock right now on blick.com. So that's where the link will take you. But we're just making sure we have lots of that gray wash, and we're going to fill in the entire sky. And I'm just adding a bit more water to it as I move down so that it won't be too dark behind the trees, because some of the foliage is going to, sit on top of that gray. So let's move that out of the way. Sky's done. We've got these great fall colors mixed up, including this really natural green. So using a warm green mixed with lots of water, we are going to use the filbert to fill in the area in front of the house and above that bush. I'm going right down here. We want to get right down where the tree is and up to the fence line. And you just want to fill in. And it's a nice light watery paint, so we can add lots of detail over top. If it's too light, we can always darken it up later. With watercolors, you always want to start light. Speaking of light, I am going to go a little darker actually for the upper meadow, the one that's above the house and up near the horizon line. So I just used a more concentrated green, and that just means there's less water, or specifically more pigment. So this green is made up of hooker's green, sap green, and burnt umber. So I just added a bit more paint, and it has less water and it comes across as darker. And then I thought, ooh, that looks really good. And so I did put a little bit of a darker wash across here. So that's up to you how dark you want to go, but remember, we're adding detail with colored pencil. So we don't want to go too dark. And then I've switched now to a number 8 round brush. So at first I used the filbert to do the sky and the meadows, and now I'm using the round brush to do these kind of messy motions of the brush. I'm just doing brush marks. So I'll hit the brush against the page, add a bit of pressure, doing a bit of a straight brush mark towards the bottom, but I want it to just have the look of hedges. And you can see the green changes a little, so sometimes it's a bit cooler, it has a bit more hooker's green, and I've gone quite dark, so that helps to differentiate between the field or meadow, which is lighter, and the bush, which is a bit darker. And then I realized, I didn't do the grass that's kind of in behind the fence. So I fixed that up, and that's fine. You can always, fix things. Don't worry if you miss something. So we'll fix that, the grass beside the house. And we've got a lot of paint on the page now. Things are looking good. At this point, I want to do the fun stuff. And for me, the foliage is the fun bit. So I started with that great orange color that we mixed up, and I decided to make this big tree on the right in the foreground a beautiful, dark, natural looking orange. So if ever your watercolors look too like Crayola bright, like this crazy bright orange, just add a little bit of Van Dyke brown or burnt umber, and that'll help deaden the color a little and make it look like more fall-ish. Just like for the yellow, we don't want it to be bright yellow. We want to use Naples yellow with a hint of brown in there. And you can see I'm just doing messy brush marks. I've switched back to the filbert, but you can do this with a round brush if you're more comfortable. And we're just kind of hitting the brush against the paper and adding a little extra pressure and just making this big, messy cluster of brush marks. Sometimes I'll add a bit more water and then release pigment into that area. A little wet into wet is great for leaves. You get this wonderful shifting of color and transparency, perfect for foliage. And remember, don't go too dark on any of these because you're going to add detail with the colored pencil. You want vibrant, just not super dark. I love the way these fall colors are coming together. I'm actually going to mix a little bit more burnt umber into that red. So you can always mix a little more yellow in, a little more brown, and change the foliage colors ever so slightly, even for the same tree. Then I put down a few brush marks of that, then rinsed my brush, came in with a few messy brush marks of the orange, and then a few messy brush marks of, you guessed it, the yellow. I'm using the filbert because I don't have as much control with it, frankly. I'm not as good with the filbert as I am with the round brush, and I think that's actually kind of perfect in this instance. For the final tree, I felt like I needed yet another color for this foliage. So I mixed burnt umber and white into the yellow. And so lots of white and burnt umber with a bit of Naples yellow. And then I'm just using the filbert to fill in that area, kind of just like a coloring book at this point. Just need to fill in the space that is left back there. I lifted a little bit of color. Lifting is another great way to get that natural look of the foliage. And then we want to add some hedges around the house. So using that same dark green that we used for the bushes or hedges in the very foreground, we're just going to do some messy brush marks using the tip of that round brush. And that just helps frame the house nicely and gives a little more contrast to that center area. I'm also going to put a little shadow underneath these two trees. I know you really can barely see the trunks, but just at the base of the trunk, I just did some messy brush marks with that darker color. Okay, we are almost done the painting portion. It's just like a coloring book. We have to fill in every section. I did a really watery burnt umber here for the tree line, and just kind of doing like vertical brush strokes to sort of hint at the look of tree trunks, but it's pretty loose. And that brings us to the house. Obviously, we need to paint the house. I want it to be a white house. I just think with all the fall color, making the house white will help it stand out. But with any home, one side is going to be more in shadow. So I mixed a really light, warm gray. So it's that same gray with just a hint of burnt umber. And I carefully filled in the one side. Not too carefully, because I touched the green. So there's a big blur there, but you can always have some paper towel or a Q-tip handy, and you can do your best to kind of clean up the mess. So if you were doing the house red, just do a darker red on one side. And then I did like a few hits of dark orange at the bottom of this tree and a Naples yellow at the bottom of the other, but that's totally optional. We are done painting, and we're gonna go have a cup of tea and let this dry completely. Okay, cup of tea done. Let's keep moving on. I've got my colored pencils here. I always have my little pencil sharpener handy, and I just keep it in a cup for all the mess. And we are just gonna get started because this is my favorite part. If your watercolor looks a little washed out or just unimpressive right now, just wait until you start adding the details. You can do this in either colored pencil or marker brush pen. The tree trunks start with basically that V, and then they branch out quite literally into little branches. But just think about doing lots of little V shapes at the base for the trunk, and then smaller ones through the foliage for the little branches. I just felt like there was too many branches in that one area. But that brings me to my next point. Grab a color that's slightly darker than the foliage to do all these little M shapes and curly cues and basically just scribbles. Here I'm using a very light brown to make the yellow tree kind of come to life. And then we can continue doing some tree trunks. Remember, just start with a V shape and add extra branches. For the tree line in the distance, I used light brown watercolor so that I could come in with a darker brown and do a whole bunch of lines. And then actually I felt like the contrast was too high. The light color was too light, but you could always go darker. Let's add a big tree trunk to this guy. He's right in the foreground, so he's going to be a bit larger. And then some more V shapes, some more branches, and I think that looks so nice. I just find this part so satisfying. It's easy to control your pencil crayon, and you're actually adding elements that are so whimsical, like these funny little scribble lines for leaves. And you can do some very tiny ones up here at the top. They're going to be smaller, of course, because they're in the distance. We'll add in lots of the mist details like the fence and, the windows on the house and the shutters and all those little things. They are so much easier to add with colored pencil. And you definitely want to have your sharpener there so that you're working with nice sharp pencils. But you have all the control of a pencil. I decided to do green shutters on the house. And then for the windows, I just do a little grid of 4, basically little lines. They're squares, sure, I guess they're meant to be squares, but they're basically just little dots or lines. Everything is so tiny, and it gives the look, of course, of paned windows. And then on this nice light green area that we did with our watercolor, we're going to take a medium warm green and do little tufts of grass. The tufts of grass are going to be larger down here at the bottom and much smaller near the house, where they will actually just be like dots. Let's continue to add these whimsical details. And remember, you can add anything you want. Flowers, you could put pumpkins in the yard. It's like you're creating a story. And this really does look like something out of a storybook. One tip is if you are doing leaves on the ground, change the color for the leaves that are sitting in the shadow of the tree, because they would be in shadow. They're a little darker. And I like to have some of the leaves sort of come off of the illustration, as if this illustration is escaping the bounds of the area I laid out for it. I'm using a medium brown on the roof, and then I used a darker brown to do some sort of shingle shapes, all very whimsical, very perfectly imperfect. bit more gray to add to some of the shadow under the roof line, stuff like that. But just have fun with this part. Like I said, you're creating the story of this illustration. And I think having the control of colored pencil, for me, it makes this so achievable and fun. And it's supposed to look whimsical. It's supposed to look a little wonky. Sometimes my proportions and my perspective aren't quite right, and I can see that, but I'm okay with it. That's totally fine. I think it adds to the charm. One detail I wanted to add was just some little flowers, kind of little X's and star shapes on that bush in the foreground. Wanted to darken up my horizon line, my tree line up here, and I actually wanted to darken some of the foliage lines as well. We'll put some leaf lines, leaf shapes on the hedge. I'm going to just give the look of grassiness texture up here by doing some scribbles on the upper meadow. And then I wanted to do some brighter yellow leaves on the lawn here. So just adding more messy leaves of different colors. They're escaping the bounds of the illustration. They're overlapping. And we're almost done. I'm going to do some scribble clouds up here in the sky. If you did a darker gray sky, you could use white gouache or a white pastel or crayon to do some puffy clouds. Pastel is great for that because it has sort of a cloud-like texture, but also doing some gray scribble clouds. I'm just scribbling with this medium gray and doing some very whimsical clouds up there, and I think that looks so nice. I'll sign my illustration, and that's it. I think that's it. I had to add some more scribbles to the clouds. I am almost done. I'll be done any second. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching today. I'm so happy you requested this. I wasn't going to make this into a YouTube tutorial, not necessarily, but I had so much fun doing another autumn illustration. So thank you. Head over to Patreon if you want to grab that coloring page, and I will see you soon with a new tutorial.